over the last several years, our district has been participating in a Skills for Life curriculum, and in looking at the implementation of the curriculum, we've seen some tremendous data as far as our students, as far as reductions in out-of-school suspensions, especially in the areas of grades K through 5. I can say we are here at Jefferson today because over the last 5 years, our out-of-school suspension rates have dropped from approximately 60 students to last year. Only 15 students were removed from these grades for severe disciplinary measures. And also to continue on, this year we're looking at possibly half as that many for another year. So we believe and we know that the attributes and the characteristics in our Skills for Life curriculum has made a tremendous impact on our kids, keeping them in school, keeping them in classrooms, and improving the overall climate within our building.
We've trained all of our teachers in Warren City Schools, preschool through 12th grade, with an emphasis on the elementary grades. We have worked with several consultants, the Morningside Center for Teaching Social Responsibility and the Inner Resilience Program. They have worked with our teachers, training, coaching, and giving them a good basis for teaching social skills for our students. And it's wonderful. We're seeing these wonderful, these great results from the hard work that we have been working with. And we have a teacher here that perhaps would like to highlight something that you're seeing in your classroom.
One thing that I've been seeing in my classroom is that students are able to recognize their feelings and act on those appropriately. They're more aware of how they feel, and I've noticed a big change in empathy, understanding how other people feel and that their actions can affect others. And one of the biggest things that I've seen is in knowing that the program is working is if a student is having a bad day, other students will come up to them and try to console them and work through their problems.
Hi, I'm Jessica Smith. I teach kindergarten here at Jefferson, and I just wanted to say a lot of people do ask us, how do we know it's working? And one of the things I notice is when there is a problem or a situation in the room that arises, the students are the ones that are now coming up with the solutions. And that's just a big thing, because usually as a teacher, you want to come up with a solution to the problem. But for a 5 or 6-year-old to take that on and come up with not only a solution, but an appropriate solution to the problem, they come up with better ideas than I have most of the time.
Tell them how they do that.
Well, usually we have a class meeting and we all sit in a circle and they each have an opportunity to talk about what they think the problem is. And I'm kind of the recorder. I'm kind of the person that just kind of sits back, the facilitator, if you will. And they come up with the solutions and we list the solutions, and towards the end they kind of decide on what they think the best solutions should be. And usually that is the best solution because in their minds they're already thinking of ways that they can solve the problem. So. And when they get a turn to, I also notice that if we choose them for a reward or choose them to come up and be the leader for the day, the other kids are actually cheering for them. So that's something else too.
Good morning. Again, I'm Lynn Hurdle-Price. I am one of the facilitators. There have been, I believe, 5 of us. I've been here since the beginning of this program and implementing it in the Warren schools. One of the things that I think that's really important is that the partnership between Morningside Center and Inner Resilience Program brings to Skills for Life the opportunity for students to learn the social skills alongside of the skill of how to center themselves, how to manage their emotions so that they can be calm and focused. So you see academics can be affected because when you're able to be calm, when you're able to focus, when you're able to not guide yourself through emotional reaction, but actually be able to have a conscious response to something, then you're able to stay focused on the work and deal with whatever's in front of you at the time. The teachers have been wholly committed to this. I come in, I do after school work with the teachers. I come in and I coach the teachers actually implementing the lessons in the classroom so that we problem solve as obstacles come up, and they're able to really continue to do this on a daily basis.
Well, we wanted to come and highlight the work that is happening here. Some of you may remember who covered this a long time ago. It seems like forever when we started this. I don't know how many superintendents ago. But Steve has taken this and really ran with it, and Jill has been the constant, and Lynn and Linda and Tom, the other folks who have put this whole thing together, have really run with this program. And the whole idea was to try to stimulate a new approach to learning in our community, and recognizing that education is about the head, but it's also about the heart. And I think the stories you heard here about the successes that we're having is that we're teaching kids how to be kind-hearted and good kids, so that when they go out in the society, whatever profession they want to be in, that they're good kids, they're good people, they're good citizens. And what you find out now with all of the neuroscience that's coming online is that if your emotional stability isn't strong, your ability to learn is weakened. And so this is the first step, I think, talking about a huge reduction in out-of-school suspensions. And the big number really is for K through 2 in the last, so these kids have been in the program for the last 3 years. Out-of-school suspensions in this district have went from 211 in a year to, as of this year, only 14. Now, the first step to learning is having your butt in the seat, and right? Yeah, okay. You got to be in the classroom in order to learn, and this is the first step. And as our teacher said, Mrs. Hammond, that, you know, the next step is the education, the learning, because you're there, you're supported, people care about you. And lastly, let me just say, I think this is all about empowering kids. This is all about giving these young kids the ability to regulate their own emotions, to focus, to concentrate, to be resilient when they get knocked off course, to be able to get back on course. These are the skills they're going to need in their lives, and these are the skills they're going to need to go out and be successful human beings and successful citizens and contribute to our community. So I'm super excited about this, because we were a wing and a prayer 5 years ago when we started this, but fortunately we had the right groups involved surrounding, we had the right leadership with Jill and now with Steve to keep it going, and we're going to continue to build this out. We've got more announcements coming with the City of Warren, Warren City School Districts in the coming weeks and months, but this school district is becoming a model school district. I think not just in Ohio, but around the country. This is what a 21st century school looks like if we're going to be successful competing economically around the world. You know, we spend a lot of time thinking about what we're going to do in the neighborhoods. How are we going to fix the neighborhoods? How are we going to fix the neighborhoods? You're not going to fix the neighborhoods until you fix the problems in the neighborhoods, and that means helping the people that are living in the neighborhoods deal with conflict in a better way. So we're teaching a bunch of peacemakers here to go into our neighborhoods in the city of Warren and de-escalate situations that may get out of control. And I think that's the underlying issue that we've never been addressing. You know, you can't put enough cops on the street. You can't, you know, you can't knock down enough homes if you don't have people going into those neighborhoods that are de-escalating situations in their own homes and within the context of the neighborhoods. And like Jill said, it's all about teaching them how to handle conflict in a respectful way and handle differences in a respectful way, and that's how you change the neighborhood. If we don't want to pay so much for so many cops, we've got to make sure that people going into the neighborhoods are peacemakers, and you got to turn around, show them your shirts on the back. There you go.
I'd love to share something with regard to your question, too. They're so great. They're so cooperative. We teach those skills, cooperation skills in the curriculum, too. But I want to share a piece, the combination, as I said, of inner resilience and Morningside. So the other piece is this centering piece, this piece where you get to be quiet, calm, and learn how to manage your emotions. I was in one of the first grade classrooms in one of the schools here, and I asked the first graders, does anybody use the relaxation and breathing techniques at home? And every kid raised their hand. I thought maybe a couple would, but everyone did. So I asked one of the students, and I said, so what do you do? She said, in my house, everybody is really excitable. Everybody gets upset. My father starts to lose his temper, and then my brothers and sisters, they get excited. She said, so I came home one day, and this was happening, and I said to myself, well, somebody has to be calm. So I went into my room, and I went into my peace corner, which I set up in my room, and I did my breathing to calm myself down. And then I went out, and I helped them to calm down. So she said, so it works. If it works in my home, it works. And these are stories that we hear from a lot of the students. They bring this home, and I think that that makes the difference, is that teachers are teaching it not as just something that you use in school, but something, as Congressman Ryan said, that you use in your life. And you know kids, if you tell them that, they're going to go home and test it out.
I'd like to make a very specific comment about the data that we are referencing with our out-of-school suspensions. To get technical about what we're looking at, we are looking at all of our forms of removal of students. We are looking at what it was when this program started as compared to what it is today. We are looking at every year afterwards. So when the question comes up, how do you know it's working? Because we didn't go from 211 to 15. We went from 211 to a 25 to 70% reduction, to the next year a 25 to 70% reduction in year 3 and 4 and 5, and there's been a continued pattern as the implementation has continued, expanded in grades, and has been done with fidelity by individuals that not only buy into it, believe in it, and are now seeing changeable results. Also, this does not mean that we're tolerating poor behavior in classrooms. Our classrooms have changed. Our kids are becoming problem solvers. Our kids are part of the solution instead of part of the problem. That is what's going on in our classrooms here in the Warren City School District. It is a shift, it is a change. It's patterning in upper grade levels as the kids are moving forward. But at this point, I'm sticking with the K2 data as we're doing this, because we know this is our solid foundation that we have to use to continue to motivate educators, children, parents, and community. Finally, if anyone asks me why this is important to us, it's just good for kids. And that is where we have to make a lot of our decisions as we're transforming our district to being the best district, the best urban district that we know in the state. It's going to take time, but these are the skills that are necessary for us to make the change.
But you need the fundamentals to be changed, and this approach gets back to the fundamentals. It's talking about regulating your own emotional state and seeing how that, if you're out of control, what that leads to, and your ability to focus, concentrate, and all the rest. So this is really about getting back to the fundamentals. So it's not some quick flash in the pan kind of change. It's a fundamental difference in how you approach teaching kids, and it's teaching them the social and emotional skills they need in order to increase academic performance, as opposed to pretending these precious little kids are robots or cars that you just take out a piece and put a new one in, or you tune it up one way or the other. These are human beings, and they have lives outside of this school that are sometimes very, very difficult. And if we don't teach them how to deal with these situations, in many instances they're never going to learn. So this is a fundamental change. To me, this is the Common Core. I know we're having a big discussion about the Common Core. To me, this is the core of education. This is the Common Core. And I think if we start thinking about it that way, I think we will begin to shift the education programs in the country.